Hey, what's going on, y'all? Big Sarge here from Sports Talk with Big Sarge podcast and BigSargeSports.com and Houston Style Magazine. On tonight, the Houston Rockets defeated the San Antonio Spurs by a score of 128 to 106 to finish the preseason 3-1. Now, you're going to go back and look at the box score and you're going to say, look at how the Rockets blew out the Spurs. But I'm here to tell you there's some other stories that went along inside of the game that I want you to pay particular attention to. Christian Wood is as advertised. Now, I know, don't get all giddy, Big Sarge. Don't be calling him Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Wilt Chamberlain. Don't name him. I know, I just dated myself, right? I don't care nothing about that. Don't make him one of the best big men that you've ever seen already. I'm not. But what I will say is that I like the way that young man plays basketball. And it had been a while since he had played basketball. He told us tonight that he got a little bit fatigued because this was his first game, I think, since March. This was his first game since March. And you all remember around that time frame in March is when the NBA shut down the league for a second due to the coronavirus. So tonight was his first night that he played in a competitive game because he missed the first three games with the Rockets preseason with an elbow injury. He only finished with a double-double, 27 points and 10 rebounds. And what I liked about what he did tonight, what I liked about what he said when he was asked by the media on how he felt about playing with James Harden, he said that I was learning as I go. I'm learning as I go. I'm learning as I go. And James was on the floor talking to him and coaching him and telling him what he needed to do. Even Coach Silas said in his press conference that there was a lot of times when Christian didn't know when to pick and pop or pick and roll, and that's where the chemistry was kind of off. And if you watch the game, you could see that sometimes James would drive the lane and throw the lob up, and he wasn't there just yet because you got to imagine this is their first time playing together. This is the first time James Harden and Christian Wood had been on the floor together. But I'm going to tell you, I like what I seen from this young man. And if he can continue to develop, if he can continue to grow, sky's the limit. Now, listen, another thing that you all should have paid attention to is James Harden in his second game. And I know, listen, there's been a lot of rumors going around about James Harden being traded. There was one today that said that now Philadelphia 76ers are putting Ben Simmons into the mix as far as the trade is concerned. And then Daryl Morey came back and said, well, no, we're not trading him. But, I mean, this is the NBA. You all know how that goes, that one day they're here, then the next day they go, hey, listen, ain't that if I'm not mistaken, that's a song by UGK. One day you're here, baby, and then you go. Hey, listen, I know I can't be on the Masked Singer because I look too good. Yeah, they don't need to cover up all of this. Anyway, but if James Harden can give the Houston Rockets a chance with this team that he's playing with, if he can give them a chance in Coach Silas's system, playing with John Wall, playing with DeMarcus Cousins, playing with Christian Wood. Next week on the 23rd, when they take on the Oklahoma City Thunder, it'll be the first time that they've all played together. And what I'm expecting from them is some mistakes. Individually, can they all hoop? Yes, they can. But it'll be the very first time that Coach Silas will be able to see his starting lineup. First time he'll be able to see four players that he's been wanting to see play together the entire time. Now, everybody knows that on tonight, DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall, they set out for the final preseason game. But on next week, he'll have John Wall, Boogie Cousins, James Harden, and Christian Wood all on the floor at the same time. Now, is it Chris Paul? No. Is it Russell Westbrook? No. But this is probably by far one of the most talented teams James Harden has been associated with in a very long time. And so that's why I say I'm curious to see how this thing is going to play out. And I want him to at least give this Rockets franchise, this Rockets organization, this young Rockets team a chance to see what they can all do together. Because now once you put those four on the court in Hardenwood, Cousins, and Cousins, and Wall, then you still got PJ Tucker. You still got Eric Gordon, who, by the way, is having a fantabulous who had a fantabulous preseason. You got Daniel House Jr. You got some of these other guys that are coming off the bench that are playing great. So if they give them an opportunity, now I'm not here to say right now after the third preseason game that the Rockets, I'm sorry, after the fourth preseason game that the Rockets are going to contend, for a championship. I'm not. The West is very, very, very strong. But what I'm here to say is what I saw in the 4 games that they played, the 2 against Chicago and the 2 against San Antonio, I can say with the fluidity and the way that the Coach Silas has implemented this offense and defense, I'm here to say that I think that the Rockets, they're gonna make some noise this year. If they can keep James Harden throughout the entire season, they're going to make some noise, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. On tomorrow, I'll be on In the Trenches with Indy Kalu on Sports Talk 790, and we'll talk a little bit more Rockets basketball, what to expect going into the season. And so I appreciate y'all. Big Sarge, I'm out.